Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, and this is Connor.
Hey guys.
We're going to talk about Outcast, Season 1, Episode 1. I guess this is the pilot, but this is from Cinemax. The episode's called A Darkness Surrounds Him. This is actually a few weeks before it starts properly on TV, because they aired it early over Facebook, of all places.
So strange marketing technique.
Really weird. Really, really weird.
I think this is the first time it's been done.
First time I've known about it.
It's a cool idea. It would be if Facebook's video player wasn't utter shite.
Yeah, you had a lot more trouble than I did try to play it, didn't you?
Piece of shit service.
But yeah, so this is a new horror series based on a comic from Robert Kirkman, who also created The Walking Dead. This first episode, which I didn't know until I just looked it up, was directed by Adam Wingard, who, if you don't know him, he directed Your Next and The Guest, which are both very good films. So I think that's interesting. It would lead me to my opinion that I thought this was actually quite well directed, which I thought that before I knew it was him, and then I was seeing him and I was like, oh,
Yeah, right from the start it was clear there was talent behind the camera.
yeah, it makes sense. So we're going to be spoiler free for a little while, because it's the first episode, so you might just want to know if it was good before you watch it. We don't want to spoil anything. We'll do some spoilers at the end. We'll give you a warning before we go into them. So this is a show about, well, at least in part, about possession.
Yeah.
Which worried me a little bit at first, because the last TV show we tried to watch about possession was called South of Hell, and was one of the worst things we'd ever seen. You can go and check out that video if you want on the channel.
I had more faith in this having had read some of the comic previously.
Had you? Okay.
Yes.
Well,
I read it as it came out.
that said, though, it's that sort of thing was going on, but we focus on the main character, Kyle, and he's got this dark past. He's done something bad that everyone keeps alluding to. You find out by the end of the episode a bit more about it, but and he's a bit of a shut-in. He's like hiding himself from the world. Doesn't want to see anyone. He wants to keep to himself. And we also have the Reverend, who's one of the sort of the main characters, who tries to deal with things and help with possessions in the neighborhood. I guess
It's a show about possessions. You've got to have a priest, a reverend. You've got to have something.
Plus, there's a couple of regular cops. There's the main character's sister, and that sort of builds up the main cast. And we're in the south somewhere. I didn't quite catch whereabouts in the south, but you can tell by the accents they're all in the south.
So they call the place was called Rome.
It's a town called Rome.
It's a town called Rome.
Yeah, Rome, America, not Rome, Italy.
No.
Just in case anyone thinks that. But the show actually really grabbed my attention right from the start, because it's on Cinemax, so it's a full cable show. And that means we've got swearing, we can have violence, we can have dark moments and really dark themes and things like that. And right from the start, so the plot of the first episode is that this kid in the town gets possessed by some kind of demonic entity. And we start off the episode with him just sort of in his house. We don't really know what's going on. He's just kind of like staring at a bug that's on his wall. And he decides to kill it, squash the bug, as you do. Now, that's quite normal. Lots of people would do that. However, most people wouldn't headbutt it.
No.
So that made me sit forward and okay, right, you got my attention now.
Yeah.
A kid just headbutted the wall. I'm paying attention.
Doesn't cut away from it either, which is
It doesn't. No, it's actually really uncomfortable because it looks really painful.
yeah,
But the
very
kid,
visceral.
but the kid doesn't act in pain, so you immediately get the idea. Okay, right, something's wrong with the kid. Something's up, and we develop it from there. And we get that the main character Kyle's had something like this in his past with his family, and everything kind of comes together. But before we get into any more plot stuff, because like we say, we don't want to spoil it. Did you like the episode?
Yeah, for the most part.
I would agree with that. I think it did a pretty decent job of. I think possession stories can be a little bit grueling, especially since we live in a world where The Exorcist happened, and everything after that. It's kind of like doing a movie or a TV show about sharks. Jaws exists, so everything after Jaws just feels kind of
Redundant.
retreading the same water. We've done the perfect version of that. We don't need more of it.
Really, retreading the same water in the Jaws analogy.
I appreciate the pun, right? You've ruined that a little bit by pointing that out.
It's not a good pun if you don't point out.
But in a similar way, I feel kind of similar about a lot of exorcism movies. They feel like they're just kind of the same thing again. Whereas what I think was quite smart with this is that the exorcism isn't the main part of the plot. The main focus is the main character, Kyle, and his past. The whole thing of the demons possessing people is just something that happens in this world.
Yeah.
And he's like involved in it in some way, and he's to deal with it. But this wasn't the main focus of the episode, and I like that.
Yeah, it was a different approach, and it definitely works.
Yeah, because a lot of the reverend trying to like fix him by like, praying
Holy
for him
water.
and holy water. A lot of that happens off screen. You don't even see a lot of it. It's just kind of like you take it for granted. You know roughly what he's doing.
Yeah, they show it like very briefly just to be clear that he's making an effort, and then the rest of it is like, well, you get the idea.
So I like that. I think Kyle as a character is kind of intriguing.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm interested in more of his past, what exactly happened, because I suspect there's more to it than what we've heard, and the end of the episode even hints at that. And we'll get into that in spoilers, but I think he's interesting. I like his sister, who's trying to like get him back out into the world.
Yeah, it's his adoptive sister, isn't it?
Yeah, despite the fact that her husband, who's a cop, completely hates him.
Yeah,
so
very much.
No, I thought it gave me an interesting cast of characters who, for the most part, they weren't all compelling per se, but they all felt like characters.
Yeah, they all filled their roles nicely enough.
Yeah. So no, I was a little bit worried because we're getting to summer TV season.
It's very hit or miss.
Yeah, there's a sort of sense of dread getting into the summer where it's like all the shows might be terrible, and this could have been terrible, but I'm happy to say the first episode was solid. Not amazing, but solid.
But it's a good start to the summer TV season because it makes there's a sense of optimism around us now, I think.
Yeah.
Like maybe everything won't be awful.
Yeah, a little bit worried at first, but no, this wasn't bad. I think what I liked most about it though was just the sense of tone and the sort of like it feels like a very dark world.
Yeah.
And not in a really. I mean, it wasn't super expensive looking, but it didn't feel. It felt very intentionally dark with some nice, like we said at the start, directing because.
Yeah, they clearly know what they're doing here.
So, no, I enjoyed it. I was, like I say, I was a little bit worried that I wasn't going to care that much because it's possession stories, and possession stories usually feel the same. This felt like it had more going for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it focused on the characters first.
That said, there is some interesting mythology with the possession already.
I agree. I don't want to talk about that in spoiler-free section.
No, just that there is it has its own mythology. It's not just standard.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be setting up its own. Yeah, like you say, its own mythology and its own rules. Like there's actually things that connect them and all that kind of thing. So that's potentially cool. So I think we'll end the spoiler-free section here. I don't know if there's much more we can say. Beyond that, I will say that also actually just before we go into the spoilers, none of the cast were bad as well, which is nice.
No, even the child, which
potentially some of the kid being evil possessed could have been really goofy, and I think there was a couple of moments that kind of danced in the line.
But it was never as bad as you fear when you have child actors doing something like this.
It was never as bad as South of Hell. Go back and watch the South of Hell pilot and watch the kid in that.
Don't do that to yourself.
Alright, so we're going to go into spoilers now. So, spoiler-free section's done. You've been warned. If you've not seen the episode and care about spoilers, this is the time to click like and subscribe and bye. Say bye-bye. Alright, so spoilers. You've been warned. Holy shit, they showed him beating the shit out of that kid.
Yeah, they really went for it, didn't they?
Jesus Christ, I was getting uncomfortable.
I remember that being in the comic and it being quite a moment in the first issue.
Yeah.
And it's like, are they going to show this? Like, are they really going to go all out with that?
Well,
and
the first hit, he threw one punch, and I thought that was going to be it. I was like, okay, that was quite risque. And then he gets on top of him and just starts like
pummeling the kid,
pummeling the kid away. And don't get me wrong, we know he's possessed, but
still,
yeah. because he's saying what happened with it, because his mother was possessed back in the day, and he's been in denial about it or whatever, but he's like, what happened in the day that she stopped being possessed? It was like, well, I hit her back. I'm like, oh dear, we're going to have to watch him beat the shit out of the kid. Although it turns out the secret is actually his blood. It seems that swallowing the blood is what...
It's not just his blood, because if you notice in the flashback to his mother, it's his tear as well.
Oh, his tear as well. So bodily fluid. His bodily fluid had to go in the child to save him.
It's all because he's the outcast is connected in this way.
Yeah. I'm sort of piecing that together from just what's in the episode, but
yeah. This is all just context from the episode. It's been a while since I've read any of it, to be honest.
So no, I thought that scene was very powerfully done. Really hard hitting. I like the connection. I like the idea that it was maybe the same demon that was in his mother. 20 years ago. I thought that was a really cool touch, because that was when I was like, when I went to see the kid for the first time with the Reverend, I was like, okay, we're getting into the demon stuff now. This might bore the shit out of me. But then he's like, oh, it's been a while, and he started talking about details. Like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting actually.
Yeah, it's like because the kid's like really talking normally, and then he just switches completely in like 1 second, and it's really effective.
What I like about it is it makes the demon more of a character, because he's got an agenda.
Yeah, there's very specifically against him.
Yeah, it's not just a random, oh, I'm going to be spooky and scare the shit out of people. It's, I have a specific reason, I want to get to him.
Yeah.
And I like that. It means there's more going on, and there's more to it, which is cool. Also, so we find out that they keep talking about what he did that was bad, and they drop some lines that say that he hit his daughter, who's, about, 5 or 6, whatever, she's a young kid. And there's my email.
The amount of shit you give me for not silencing my phone.
Yeah. To be fair, though, people, you won't not believe this, but almost every time we end an episode, his phone goes off right after we finish recording, and it's a miracle that it's never happened.
It is uncanny, isn't it?
Miracle. I'll mute my iPad at the moment. Right, so that's that done. What was I saying? Yeah, so we found out that he hit his daughter, and I suspect that it wasn't him, because we see the flashback at the end when he comes in, and the wife's possessed. I think the wife, well possessed, hit the daughter, and he took the fall for it because he didn't want her to not see her daughter anymore, something like that.
Yeah, it certainly looks along those lines.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Which is why, because the only scene we see of the wife in present day is when she answers the phone and asks if it's him. Yeah. We don't see any more of her, and I really wonder how much she knows. Like, does she know he's not a bad guy and he took the fall for her?
Does she know she was possessed?
Yeah, does she know she was possessed? Does she think he is evil and hit her? Or, how much does she know? How much is she aware of all this?
Because obviously we see his mother at one point, and she's catatonic.
Yeah.
So obviously she has... Presumably that was right after the possession, you'd think.
Possibly.
I think it was implied, because he says what happened the day that he left her. I feel like she's been in that sort of coma state since then.
Here's a question: is she in a coma because of the possession, or when he said he hit her, did he hit her hard enough that it put her in a coma? Because the kid's fine. Because the kid, when the possession ends, he's fine. And actually, I will say this: I like that they had the kid smile at him to let us know the kid was not scarred from getting the shit beat out of him.
Which is why I think that she doesn't know that she was possessed, because the kid doesn't seem to really remember.
Yeah.
Because he's all fine. He obviously tells the police that he's all fine with the guy, with Kyle.
Yeah. So as the mother, which kind of surprised me. I was like, do you think the mother might still be a bit pissed?
But she knew what was going on.
Yeah, she'd seen a lot of crazy shit in that room.
Yeah. So I think they don't have any memory of being possessed.
Yeah, probably. Which, you can understand why that fucks him up though, and why he's such a weirdo hermit.
Yeah.
That, he didn't actually do this, but he's been blamed for it. But there's
especially if he thinks this is connected to him, he obviously doesn't want to get anyone else hurt.
And that's why he's sticking to himself. So I mean, there's mythology building, and it's all sort of coming together, and I like that.
Yeah.
So, that's good. No. Like I say, I like the sister and her try to bring him out into the world and get him food and stuff, and
So it's just she obviously doesn't believe any of the
No, she doesn't.
possession stuff.
She's just looking out for her brother,
Yeah.
which is nice, and it gives her something a bit more depth than, like that'll make her to him particularly special, because even if people eventually find out the truth, she stuck by him, even not knowing.
Yeah.
So it makes her a very, like, I don't know if noble's the right word, but
Yeah, they have an extra bond.
Sympathetic. Like, we're very sympathetic to her, I guess. And actually, I thought her daughter, be like, just casually bringing up, so you hit your girl and now you can't see her anymore. Like, that was cold.
Yeah.
Also, do you realise you're also a little girl? If he is someone who's happy to punch a little girl, then you probably wouldn't want to.
Yes, but that's the thing with children, isn't it? They have no filters.
True.
They have no concept of, oh, what if he does the same to me? Nah, fuck it, I'm just going to say this. It's in my head.
Also, no mute button. That's the real shame.
Yeah, that is, oh, I could do with that.
That's the real tragedy in all of this, is that kids don't have mute buttons. Even when they're possessed, they still don't shut up.
Bastards.
But I liked it.
No, I did too. I really hope it doesn't go the way of The Walking Dead, which, had a fantastic pilot, and then...
Because Walking Dead had a better pilot. Walking Dead had a phenomenal pilot.
Walking Dead's pilot is one of the best I've ever seen.
It just slowly went downhill until season 2 was just a complete giant turd on everything. Yeah. So, I don't know. But maybe this can only go up from here, since it's not starting that high.
Yeah, that's a good hope to have.
But, no. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was the best thing ever, but I thought it was solid, and I'm curious to see more.
Yeah, it was definitely enjoyable enough that I'm more than happy to come back for more episodes.
So I think with that, we will definitely be covering the rest of the season. Unless it tanks so bad in episode 2 that we have to, back away slowly. But I doubt it.
Yeah, it's... Well, you say that. We have had some shows this last few months that tanked after the first episodes.
It did, but I mean, that was after 3 episodes, and at least by that point it's because I think this is only 10 episodes, so 10 or 13, and I think if we get to episode 4 and then it starts to tank, it's we're halfway through now, we have to finish.
It's a good point.
So,
it's a very good point.
But now we'll be covering the rest of this season then, I think, so you can look forward to that. Of course, the show doesn't actually start.
June 4th, I believe, is the first episode officially.
And that'll be the first episode again, so it'll be the week after when we come back with episode 2.
It's, what, 3 weeks from now?
Yeah, something like that. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's Outcast, folks. Let us know what you thought. I'd be really curious to hear, but it seemed pretty good. So yeah, let us know in the comments below, and like and subscribe and all that jazz. Helps us out a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time.